What's up, my blorps? So I started working on this ranking and script on October 1st, 9 days before my Season 1 ranking was even uploaded. I guess I was just that eager to keep moving forward. Speaking of my Season 1 ranking, I found out that another YouTuber had the exact same idea as mine. He even uploaded his video on the same day as mine. That is absolutely hilarious. Shout out to Adler, the Phoenix of Grunvale, for this incredible coincidence. His video is fun to watch and he has a drastically different opinion compared to mine. Go watch it if you want. The video link is in the description. So it's time for my Season 2 ranking, right? No, actually. I just want to say this. I sincerely apologize for not listening to the songs in Season 1. I really wasn't in the mood to sit through those. And after sitting through the good movies of the Disney Renaissance, I decided to make it up to you all and make mini rankings of the songs in each season. But I have a major rule to point out. I am only ranking the songs that are over a minute long. Sorry to the fans of Evil Enchantress. Also, from here on out, I will be discussing these mini rankings after the main ranking, much like the Knuckles Approved segments. How about we just talk about Season 1's selection now, and then I'll rank Season 2's episodes. I landed on 6 songs. I'll just keep it brief since I don't really care about most of them at all. I feel like I missed absolutely nothing. So here is my ranking. Number 6, You Gotta Share, You Gotta Care. Not even close. Number 5, The Cutie Mark Crusaders. Number 4, Giggle at the Ghostly. Number 3, Winter Wrap Up. Number 2, Art of the Dress, plus the reprise. And number 1, At the Gala. Also not even close. There you go. That's my ranking. Now let's get to the actual topic of this video. So, Season 2. I was pretty excited for this season. Not only because I recognize almost all these episodes, but many people are saying this is an improvement over Season 1. On Serialized, the average rating is, at the time of this recording, a 7.71 out of 10. That is definitely an improvement right there. What do I think of it? Yup, it's an improvement alright, but it's still just a decent season. My average grade is a 6.85 out of 10. Better than the first season. The characters themselves have changed too, for the better and for the worse. It's better for Twilight Sparkle. It's better for Fluttershy. Alright, I can handle that. But the others kinda baffle me. It's weaker for Rainbow Dash, it's weaker for Rarity, it's weaker for Applejack, it's better for Pinkie Pie, it's better for the Cutie Mark Crusaders. How do you manage that? Anyway, let's jump right into the ranking. Starting with... Wait a minute. There's not a single D tier? Yep, we are starting with the C tiers. Not only is that a first for this video series, but for the first time ever, we have an S tier episode. What an accomplishment. This is gonna be fun. Only 8 out of the 26 episodes belong in C tier in my opinion. Just a quick heads up, you guys are going to be kinda shocked at what episode hit the bottom spot. Let's see what it is.
There's a big snake in the plane, John!
Read It and Weep is a headache to sit through, and it gave me a headache. I procrastinated on finishing this piece of slog so much because it made me feel like this. It's an episode where Rainbow hurt her wing and she's in the hospital and she has to wait to be discharged. Yet she grows attached to reading and doesn't want to tell her friends. That's the entire story. There is a handful of stuff that I actually liked. Rainbow's impatience was kind of relatable to me, her trying to steal the book was pretty fun, and the best part about the episode is by far the Daring Do story. It's a really fun and engaging parody of Indiana Jones. Though it also plays into my biggest problem with the episode. The separate story is incredibly fun and well paced, but when we switch back to the hospital, it becomes extremely awkward and really stressful to sit through. It is tonal whiplash at its finest. Constant meandering and horrible pacing. I know I used to do that a lot as a kid, as in hiding my iPad from my parents whenever I'm in bed, but believe me, I can't like a story because it's relatable. Also, one question, why is Daring Do a copy-pasted puppet of Rainbow Dash? The mane is just rainbows but with monochrome colors, and the eye color is the exact same. Were the animators just too lazy to make a new puppet? Whatever, this episode is an absolute mess, and I don't think I'll ever watch it again anytime soon.
I'm coming, darling.
Look, guys, Dragon Quest is not a good episode. It never will be. But it's not that bad. There's a ton of stuff that I kinda liked. I thought the jokes were decent. I liked when Fluttershy was running to the window and then she softly opened it. I liked when Spike was blushing. I kinda liked when Rarity was constantly wanting to take care of Spike. I liked when there was another dragon that looked exactly like the costume Rarity made. And I really liked the scene when Spike laid down on the floor and the shape of the window illuminating the floor looked like an egg. That's cute. I guess I liked Spike's little journey to meet the dragons. I liked that Cranky was on the raft with him. And I also like his depiction of looking different and falling into the wrong crowd. I know this from real life experience. Okay, I can't find anything else to compliment. Yeah, I knew this was gonna be bad. This is by far the lowest rated Season 2 episode on Serialize, so I had excessively low expectations. The scenes with the teen dragons felt incredibly painful to sit through, and the ponies themselves are honestly kinda stupid? You three got him into this, what did you expect? Same goes for you, Spike. Did you really think hanging out with teen dragons was a good idea? You should have predicted that they would bully you, since, you know, dragons are big, scary, and aggressive. Also, I don't like when Fluttershy was so scared to see the dragons even though she literally stood up against one in the previous season. I guess that's all I have to say. It's not good, but hey, I guess I kinda had fun with it. Going into this ranking, I was expecting this specific episode to be an easy last place. But upon this rewatch, I am shocked to report that I do not think Hearts and Hooves Day is bad. With that said, it's still ranked close to last place because of a crucial issue. The whole plot in the first half is insanely drawn out. It's incredibly awkward to watch the Crusaders try to arrange a date with Cheerilee and Big Mac. I didn't like how slowly it flowed. It doesn't have the best pacing. The Perfect Stallion is a forgettable song, but it makes up for that by being damn hilarious. Hey look, it's Button Mash. Remember him? The filly from the Minecraft music video? Other than that, the first half is pretty painful. Then the love poison kicks in. All of a sudden, the second half of the episode is shockingly pretty fun. I don't know how, but oh my god, this is such a silly episode. The entire plot of trying to hit that 1 hour mark without having the two looking into each other's eyes was a bundle of fun to sit through. All the way to the end where the time runs out and they are back to normal. Side note, the ending really threw me off when I first watched it. The way the two responded made me think the two were actually still in the love poison and the method didn't work. It still made me think that on rewatch. But then I looked at the wiki and it's revealed that the two were just teasing the Crusaders. I'm sorry, but it looked too convincing to me. Overall, this episode absolutely could have been worse. It's just okay.
I love you, Metro Man!
And I love you, random citizen!
I don't really care for the mysterious ne'er-do-well. When I first saw this episode, I never predicted that the rest of the main six were disguised as this one pony. I just thought, who is this pony? Nowadays, the twist is half exposed by Rarity in the beginning. Thanks for that, bitch. It's a fine twist, but it doesn't make up for how mid this episode is. Rainbow Dash becomes the most arrogant asshole in the world. She feels most comparable to Metro Man. She's only being a hero in order to get the attention. I guess it makes sense for her to get jealous when the new hero is taking her role. There is one major difference between these two. Metro Man was a side character. Rainbow Dash is the main character of this episode. The focus on Rainbow's jealousy is fine, I guess. This episode just isn't for me, buddies. I like that the Pinky senses were brought back in the ending. That was kind of funny.
Oh, it's spreading! The virus is spreading!
The cutie pox is boring. Well, it's not too boring. There are a couple scenes I find kind of entertaining. The bowling scene and the entire scene where Apple Bloom visits Sakura's home were the only scenes I really focused on. Then we get to her first cutie mark and it just takes a bit too long for the second mark to pop up. As the third one comes in, we are told that it was an old plague from many years ago. How come only the citizens of Ponyville know about it and not just these guys? Applejack especially should have known immediately. From here on out, it's just Apple Bloom suffering from the cutie pox and it's kinda fun. I like that Pinky just said every random truth out of her mouth to try and cure the disease. That was pretty funny. Other than that, oh, my dog's barking. Other than that, the episode is just forgettable and boring. Another Cutie Mark focused episode that isn't interesting. The Cutie Mark Chronicles is truly untouchable.
I got 7 Mac 11s, about 8, 38s, 9, 9, 10 Mac 10s, the shit's.
If you see my Season 1 ranking, you know that I consider Pinkie Pie to be the weakest pony of the main 6 by a landslide. She is just really annoying, and when she is written well, she is really fun. It's hard for me to deny that this was a better season for her compared to Season 1. Though, I still have to declare a bottom spot. In my opinion, the weakest Pinky episode of Season 2, to my surprise, is the Mystery on the Friendship Express. Or should I say, the Mystery on the Friendship Express. Oh my god. I seriously was not expecting this episode to be this mid. Pinkie Pie is kind of insufferable here. I know the message of the story is to not immediately jump into conclusions, but holy shit, man, this is way too much. Since I saw this before, I immediately predicted the twist revealing who ate the pastries. This episode overall was shockingly kinda boring. I thought this was going to be a fun mystery story, not just Pinkie constantly talking into my ears. The ponies are kinda stupid, and I don't really care for the bakers either. They are just forgettable characters. Okay, I take that back. The French Griffin is an absolute delight. I love his voice and his design so much. I like that the donut guy is named Joe. Like, nothing distinct or unique, just Joe. I don't like Mulia. Her voice is annoying as hell. I liked when Pinkie started smoking a pipe. I liked the designs of the pastries. I liked that Twilight was actually competent. I loved the old school aesthetic when Pinkie was accusing the French Griffin. I know his name, I just want to call him that because it's easier. Also, in this animation, Pinkie literally dies off screen, so that just happened. This episode is so mid, it honestly pisses me off. I have no clue why I don't think this episode is very good. I guess my hopes were too high for this. Applejack is the most innocent out of everyone on this train aside from the conductor.
You're gonna be popular.
Of all episodes I went into for this ranking, Sweet and Elite is the only episode where I went in completely blind, despite seeing it before. What do I think of it, you may ask? I don't know, I guess it's fine. It has a unique setting, taking place entirely in Canterlot with Rarity being the central character. It was nice, but just because it's Rarity doesn't mean the episode is peak. I didn't like how she just chooses the garden party instead of going to Twilight's birthday. Some friend you are. She's still a decent protagonist within the episode. Some of the new characters are also pretty decent. I like Fancy Pants. I guess I kinda like Jet Set and Upper Crust. I liked the joke with the guy holding all those bags. Now for the main song. Becoming Popular is fine. It's basically just Rarity singing about how happy she is for being famous in Canterlot. The beat was fun and all, but the song just wasn't exactly my type. I guess the ending of the episode made things a bit more interesting. I like the rapid switch between the two parties. Then the main six interferes with the garden party and I just completely click away. Thankfully it wins me back when Fancy Pants compliments Twilight's birthday dress. It's a pretty decent episode. I'm sure some people can enjoy this, but it just isn't very interesting. Moving on.
Shut up, Grandma!
Family Appreciation Day is probably the most difficult episode to talk about for this ranking. I have basically nothing to say. I couldn't even find an actually good shot for the thumbnail for the longest time. It's an episode where Apple Bloom has to bring a family member to school and have that family member talk about, well, anything. Apple Bloom's member of choice is Granny Smith. I don't really care about Granny Smith that much. She's basically just your typical cartoon grandma, and she's kind of annoying in this episode. Apple Bloom doesn't like her grandma's rambling, so she wants to skip out on the event. The Crusaders try to make Granny Smith busy, but they fail. Then Granny Smith brings up her story on the founding of Ponyville. This story is a delight. I am honestly really shocked at how much I like this little story. Was it worth the wait though? Not really. I guess I like that Diamond Tiara's father is a rich business pony. Diamond Tiara was pretty funny in the ending, and I like that this episode, much like Hearts and Hooves Day, has nothing to do with the Crusaders wanting to get cutie marks. Other than those pluses, I guess the episode is just okay. Close to good, but just not enough. Alright, we have arrived at the land of the bees. And this tier consists of over half of this entire season. Yeah, we're gonna be here for a long time. Buckle up, my friends.
How come you came back?
Because that's what friends do!
A friend indeed. Oh boy, another Pinkie episode. Don't get me wrong, Pinkie Pie isn't that annoying here. She's honestly pretty solid for the most part. And Smile is a really fun song. Cranky Doodle is also really fun. He's kind of like me whenever there's a bad Pinkie episode. Though the episode kind of loses me when it's just Pinkie trying to make Cranky happy. It still has some pretty good moments. The art style change was hilarious and Cranky's backstory was pretty sad. Anyway, didn't I say Pinkie was good for the most part? Yeah, let's get back to that. She starts good, but over the course of the episode, she becomes rather annoying. She doesn't know what personal space means, so her constant interactions with Cranky got old pretty quickly. The ending was also kind of predictable to me since it was already revealed that there's another donkey in this episode before Cranky was introduced. It's a very lovely ending whatsoever, even though Pinkie is still kind of annoying. This was a pretty good episode and I don't mind its existence. Also, I liked when Derpy was inside the snow globe, that was pretty funny. Did you guys know that this episode is ranked number 18, and it's also the 18th?
Patchy Drizzle here with an urgent weather bulletin. A tornado watch has just been issued for the Royal Woods area.
So Hurricane Fluttershy is one of the most beloved episodes of the season, and I don't get why. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a pretty interesting episode. I think it's an all-around good time. I don't really have problems with this. There's a lot of good stuff I want to talk about. The 50s style sequence at the beginning was eye-popping. Such a refreshing change of pace in terms of the aesthetic. Fluttershy's ongoing anxiety was executed very well here. I understand why she feels like this. In fact, I relate to her pretty well here. I liked when Rainbow Dash completely dumps the idea of breaking the record. I like the whole training montage with Fluttershy and her animals. And this episode does get into some fairly dark territory. Well, for a kids show at the very least. This episode has some great shots. Fluttershy's shadow in front of the sun, the water from the waterspout hitting Cloudsdale, and of course the shot of Fluttershy being surrounded by a million eyeballs. That shot goes hard. Yes, I would be terrified by a million eyeballs too. She may have thought the ponies were laughing at her only for it to be a hallucination, but Fluttershy doesn't need to know that. All she needs to know is that she's too scared to do such a difficult task, and she manages to face her fear with flying colors. No pun intended. Overall, it's good. It's got a ton of great stuff. The waterspout idea is cool. It has funny jokes. It was just executed good.
How did you know my favorite holiday was Halloween?
Luna Eclipse was another interesting episode. This is the first episode to feature Princess Luna in her true form. To be honest, it was actually just a redesign and not just some way of regaining power. Anyway, she was pretty fun, and I enjoyed my time watching her try to fit in with everyone else. That doesn't mean everyone is good, because Pinkie Pie is an anchor weighing this episode down. I know the whole point of Halloween is that being scared is fun, but oh my god, how does she not realize that she's hurting Luna's feelings? Aren't you the pony that's supposed to make others smile? What are you thinking? So yeah, Luna is a fun character, the Halloween setting is cool, and Pipsqueak is a legend. I love this filly, he's awesome. I honestly don't have much to say about this episode other than the fact that Rarity was cut from the final product. She was featured in the episode's original script, but her scene was removed so that the episode can be back to 22 minutes. Honestly, if they kept the deleted scene, I would have liked this episode a bit less since it doesn't really impact the plot as much. Side note, this is unrelated, but I like the way this episode was advertised. In Los Angeles, a billboard referencing Poltergeist was put up to let people know about season 2. That's pretty funny. Overall, a pretty good time that definitely could have been worse.
No pony breaks a pinky promise!
The last roundup is the first episode to have Derpy talk, and that makes me happy. Otherwise, this episode is pretty good. What I don't like about the episode is Applejack. She starts determined and ready to come back with the money, but as the episode progresses, she is basically saying everything is fine without actually explaining. Aren't you the element of honesty? I am seriously struggling to think of what to say for these episodes. I guess I like that the mayor was money hungry and they completely dropped that whole scenario. I like that Pinkie Pie was told to annoy Applejack so that she can tell the truth. I like the wild goose chase at the end. I liked when Applejack broke the pinky promise. There was one aspect that really pisses me off. And it's not even the writer's fault. I'm pissed at the civilians of Canterlot. So you're saying you only get the money in first place and not second or third?
That's actual bullshit.
Yeah, this episode is fun. Boring in some parts, but it's got enough to be good.
Can you believe it, guys? Just a week away.
I will never deny that Heartswarming Eve inadvertently inspired Asteroid City. It's a play within an episode, except this play is themed around Equestria's backstory. Said play was pretty fun. It basically revolved around pony racism. The whole journey to find the lands was pretty fun, and I like that the main characters are portrayed as the founders of Equestria. Despite them being kinda awful at portraying their roles, I don't mind their inclusion. I like that Spike was the narrator of the show. I really like that the whole reason behind the blizzard is because nobody got along well. A very clever way to describe ongoing conflicts. The Wendigos are a sick concept. This episode has some of the best ideas in the season and was executed pretty well. Not well enough to be peak, just a good episode. Secret of My Excess might just be Season 2's most divisive episode. It takes place on Spike's birthday, and he continues to demand more presents. All this excessive greed causes him to grow bigger and become a huge dragon. He's pretty much not the same person anymore until Rarity gets pony-napped by him. Unlike a dog and pony show from season 1, Rarity is kind of a damsel in distress here. I guess it makes sense since those were just idiot dogs and this is a massive dragon that's not in control. This episode does have a ton of funny moments. Spike's reaction after getting kissed by Rarity, Big Boy Spike making fun of Rarity's lecture, and a bunch of growing Spike moments. This is the episode that kind of concludes the arc of Spike having a crush on Rarity. I guess it's a fine ending to this cute and funny arc, though it definitely could have been better, much like this episode as a whole. The arc certainly did not end for the fandom, however, it also could have been much worse. I just think this episode is pretty good.
Mommy, look, a turtle!
I will always have a soft spot for May the Best Pet win. Despite it being just good and not one of my favorites in the season, this is the episode that spawned one of my favorite relationships in the show, Rainbow Dash and Tank. Their interactions are so wholesome, it's honestly incredible. It fits Rainbow's character perfectly when she thinks Tank is just an outsider before he unsticks her wing and brings her to the finish. What a wholesome finale. The episode isn't too special to me, since the whole pony test thing is kind of boring, and the Find a Pet song really blows. I still had a good time with it overall, and I wouldn't mind seeing that race again. I'm sorry for this being so short, I have nothing to say.
You were gone forever.
It was 3 days.
Sisterhood Social is a bit of a weird one to me. It's another one of those episodes where I was really struggling on what to put into the script. On the one hand, the entire plot of Sweetie Belle and Rarity having a falling out is pretty fun. The twist revealing that Rarity and Applejack swapped out at the event was great. I had fun watching the whole event unfold, and I felt pretty bad for Sweetie Belle going through all this bullshit. On the other hand, it's kind of a huge butcher on Rarity's part. She's basically committing child neglect on her own sister over her personal belongings. I liked all the screw-ups Sweetie Belle caused. She was just trying to help, and Rarity's like, stop touching my stuff. I understand that people can have beef with their siblings, so I don't exactly mind this episode's overall existence. I like that this is the episode that reveals Rarity's parents. Suffice to say, I am really struggling on what to say for this. It doesn't have anything to talk about. All I can say is that this episode is pretty good. Let's see what's next on the list. Oh cool, something I can actually talk about.
How many times have you beaten this clown anyway?
3.
Really? Only 3? Funny. Seemed like more.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. It's About Time and Lesson 0 are basically the same episode to me. They both follow the exact same formula. Twilight slowly goes insane over something critical to the plot and only stops at the end because she was in the wrong the whole time. Besides that, it was pretty difficult to rank these two, but I came to a decision, so let's start from there. It's About Time is just a weaker version of Lesson 0. Twilight's insanity just feels less real here, especially since she just met herself from the future. Gee, talk about a time paradox, am I right? There's nothing to do about it because she does the exact same thing in the end. I do like that it's revealed that there is no disaster to worry about, and Twilight acknowledges that she looks absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why Pinkie went along for the ride, even though she was pretty funny. I guess she did help Twilight with finding the time travel spell. Spike contributed to nothing and just bragged about ice cream. That's his whole character in the episode. It just feels weird. And that's all I have to say. It's pretty good and I like it when they travel back in time.
Have you noticed that Mr. Krabs has gone completely insane?
So I came into this expecting Lesson 0 to be one of the best in the season, and I came out kind of underwhelmed and disappointed. That doesn't mean I didn't like it, I had a ton of fun watching. I think this is one of Season 2's most important episodes. In Season 1, the only pony writing letters to Celestia was Twilight Sparkle. It wasn't until this episode where it's not just her, it's everyone in Ponyville writing to Celestia. That is a pretty good impact on the show. I'll admit, Twilight going insane was a lot of fun. I felt her pain when it comes to anxiety attacks. Rushing at the last minute to finish work has always been a staple of my life. But I feel like Pinkie's insanity from Season 1 felt more dark and disturbing. Don't get me wrong, Twilight's was still very disturbing. She was far more expressive than Pinkie Pie. Just look at her face when she opens the chest. If that isn't a face of pure insanity, then I don't know what is. Can you tell the season was more ambitious than Season 1 in terms of animation? So anyway, this is a pretty beloved episode. Why was I disappointed? Well, I just don't feel very invested in the story or characters in this. I don't like the scenes where the camera is constantly zooming into Rarity's face. It was funny at first, but it got old very quickly. I don't know how the main six doesn't see how broken their own friend is. It's pretty obvious that her sanity is draining. And I'll be honest, as much as I enjoyed Twilight's descent, Pinky's turmoil is just better to me. We see her hallucinate and see the objects moving, only to reveal that she is the one moving them. Oh, also Andrea Libman's performance in that episode was top-notch. Here, it's just Twilight and she does hallucinate, but it's not as effective. Tara Strong's performance is really good, but it doesn't quite hit the highs of Libman's. Anyway, both Lesson Zero and It's About Time are very similar yet still pretty good episodes.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Ponyville Confidential might just be the most problematic episode of Season 2 that's actually good. Yet I still ranked it in the top 10, oops. I'm just gonna list my problems one by one because why the fuck not? Why do the voices of the Phillies sound like grown adults?
The full free press is usually just boring news and stuff.
I swear, Diamond Tiara's voice sounds so much deeper compared to every other episode she's in. Let me show you a comparison.
Another cutie mark? Ha! Columns about ponies and their private lives, the things they do when they think they're alone.
Seriously, what the fuck happened here? Why are the main six ponies actively against Gabby Gums after their privacy gets invaded? They should have been worried from the start, which is exactly what Twilight did. Why do the Crusaders realize what they did wrong because they don't have their cutie marks? That has basically nothing to do with what's going on. It's like they don't even care about feelings and just want cutie marks. The ending absolutely screams missed potential. Why didn't the Crusaders just flat out expose Diamond Tiara's actions? Their little story made sense, but it would have made even more sense if they exposed the culprit. It would have been so easy to do that! Okay, I'm done with my problems since I really like this episode. Diamond Tiara is a definite standout here. She's pretty menacing and has a shadow casted over the plot of the entire episode. She's basically an evil CEO using the Crusaders as slaves. She even blackmails them into continuing this truly diabolical gossip. I love that the Crusaders know what they're doing is wrong, but they can't do anything or else they would be embarrassed to the public by their own boss. So yeah, Diamond Tiara is the best part about the episode. She kind of carries this episode on her shoulders. I guess she is the reason why this episode is in the upper half of B tier. Good stuff. I liked when Big Mac called the Crusaders out, that was pretty satisfying. There's a bunch of contenders for the funniest episode of Season 2, but this episode takes the cake. Baby Cakes is really good. Pinkie Pie is the central character and she isn't bad, thank God. Although I still have problems with this, but we'll get to that later. So Mr. and Mrs. Cake had sex and Mrs. Cake gave birth to twins. One has wings and one has a horn, when both of the parents are earth ponies. Mr. Cake confirms that his ancestors were Pegasi and unicorns. So this is a genetics thing, I guess? So the parents missed a catering order and now Pinkie Pie has to babysit the twins. I like the montage on who wants to be the babysitter, it was pretty funny. The entire plot consisting of Pinkie trying to know how to handle babies was a ton of fun. It made me laugh quite a few times. The climax was fun, I liked when the babies did the flower joke to cheer Pinkie up, which was an echo to what she did to them, except she hated doing it. The ending was also pretty wholesome and cute. It's an overall cute episode. Okay, now for my problems. Remember when I said Pinkie Pie wasn't bad in this? Well, it's still true, but there were some scenes that didn't do her so well. I didn't like when Pinkie kept trying to throw a party in the nursery. I think the whole comedian scene is mid. I didn't like the pig song. And yeah, she was kind of an asshole when Twilight came over. My other problem is more of a nitpick. It was fun to watch the babies get their powers this early into their life. But at the end of the episode, they say Pinkie's name. So get this. Normally, it takes around 12 months for a baby to say its first word. Wanna know how long it took these two? 1 month. Yes, 1 month. I'm sorry, but that just feels weird to me. I think it would have made more sense if they didn't say her name at the end. Problems aside, this is a really good time. I had a blast watching.
Hey! This is mine too! Mike!
Alright, let's get this out of the way.
Come on, Fluttershy! Cider season's about to start!
The Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000. Talk about a tongue twister. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the title of this episode. The original title, Cider Horse Rules, was a much better name than this absolute behemoth. Don't worry, it doesn't hinder the episode in the slightest. It is a very fun and zany time. The stars of the show are definitely Flim and Flam. I don't hate them as characters, I think they're great. They are the biggest douchebags in the world and I love them. The Flim Flam Brothers is a really fun song as well. It establishes everything you need to know about this episode's story, the main setting, and how silly the two villains are. Sam Vincent and Scott McNeil do a great job as these two motherfuckers, both in the voice acting and in the singing. The animation is also really great in this. The entire machine is animated exceptionally well and it visually impresses me. That's not the only thing I enjoyed. The cider competition was super fun, Rainbow Dash's obsession with cider is absolutely hilarious, and the Flim Flam Brothers' defeat is incredibly satisfying. This episode isn't really about learning lessons, but that's okay. It's supposed to tell a good story, and I don't mind it. It's well paced and absolutely worthwhile. Go check it out if you want.
And what you gonna do when Hulkamania and the largest arms in the world run wild on you?
Putting your hoof down is so much fun. Easily the best of the season's non-two-parters. Fluttershy legitimately curses in this episode. That's how you know this is a banger.
That no pony else gives a flying about.
Disclaimer, she didn't actually say fuck. She said feather. I will forever believe that it was just a placeholder for the writers to put in. Oh boy, is it satisfying to watch Fluttershy crash out like this. The entire episode is just her slowly becoming the biggest Karen in the world. Honestly, I completely buy why she had to end up like this. She kept getting beaten down by numerous Ponyville citizens, so Pinky and Rarity helped her change. Then of course there's Iron Will. Oh my god. First, his design and movements are sick as hell. Did you know that his design was inspired by Hulk Hogan? I certainly didn't. After the big seminar with Iron Will, the rest of this plot is basically just a villain arc for Fluttershy. She starts being herself but actually standing up to assholes, before eventually losing control and needing to be stopped. It's kind of like Secret of My Excess but executed much better. Then after she goes completely rogue on her own friends, this episode has a great conclusion. I found it funny that Fluttershy told Angel to tie her to her chair so that she wouldn't come outside. The whole cartoon joke of going back and forth until changing to get the right answer, yeah, that got kind of old as the episode progressed. Though the ending was pretty great when Fluttershy completely ratios Iron Will and makes him leave. Now that is badass. This episode is so good, guys, come on. Oh my god, that took ages! Finally, we have hit the A tiers. How convenient that the top 4 episodes of Season 2 are all the two-parters.
The true and neo chaos.
The Return of Harmony Part 2 is pretty great, although it's a pretty big step down from the first episode. The Chaos World is still terrifying, Discord is still a great villain, the ponies splitting up was fun to watch, Rarity naming the big rock Tom was hysterical,
Hey you, my name is Thomas Tom Scott Ridgewell.
Twilight's loss of hope was pretty sad, and Discord's defeat honestly could not have been more satisfying. Though there are some parts I didn't exactly vibe with. Pinky's chocolate rain joke peaked in the first episode, but I grew out of it here. It kinda messes with the tone and makes it kind of awkward. I love the way Twilight brought everyone's colors back, but sometimes it felt a little too kiddified for my liking. I know that's the point when you're talking about a show with a rated TV Y rating, but believe me, adults can still get a kick out of this. And that's all I have to say. It's a pretty great episode, it just could have been better. Part 1 will be discussed in a minute.
You mean to tell me that this entire wedding was a setup?
Here we are, folks, a Canterlot wedding. I absolutely love this two-parter. The stakes are high, the animation is gorgeous, the drama is powerful, the new characters are great, and it's overall a very fun time. Before I talk about them, you all need to know the context of this, or else you will find these segments extremely confusing, especially for the people that have either not seen the show or do not remember anything. The main 6 are invited to Canterlot to attend a wedding. The groom is Twilight's brother, and the bride is Twilight's childhood babysitter. When Twilight reunites with her babysitter, she's revealed to be a huge bitch. Twilight desperately tries to convince the others that she's evil and she gets punished for that. She then finds the bride again and it's revealed that this is the real bride and the one everyone sees is an imposter. The two of them escape the cave and crash the wedding. The fake bride reveals herself to be an absolute hideous monster and wreaks havoc on Canterlot. I wonder where I've seen this before. She even hypnotized the groom. It could not be more obvious. And that's the context of a Canterlot wedding. Yes, it was very difficult to rank these two. I went back and forth on both of these in my most recent viewing so many times. But ultimately, I came to a conclusion that, yeah, I'm sorry guys, but I think part 2 was the weaker one.
You take that back!
I know, it's the highest rated episode on Serialized. I can absolutely see the appeal. But I'm sorry to say, I just find everything less memorable and fun compared to part 1. With that said, there is still a lot that leaves little to be desired. First, let's talk about Queen Chrysalis. She is a great villain. Her transformation is cool, she's commanding to the screen, and she has a pretty good design. The holes in her legs, her bug-like wings, her crooked horn, she looks like a monster, and that's great. She loses some points since I thought her whole presence in the episode was kind of underwhelming. Her defeat felt rushed, and she doesn't have that much screen time. I also had to deduct even more points off since some of the lines in this episode are kind of ass. Ooh, not my shining armor. That line makes me want to rip my ears out. Oh, you were saying? Why the fuck did you put an unfunny quip in the script? What the hell are you guys doing? Anyway, let's talk about some more good stuff. One of the highlights of the episode was definitely the music. Let's start with one of the most iconic songs in the show, This Day Aria. A great villain song that fits very naturally with the tone of the episode. The singing in this is absolutely incredible. Britt McKillop absolutely nailed her performance. Love is in Bloom is pretty decent. It's more of a generic pop song to end the season off, and that's fine. Definitely doesn't hit the same highs as the previous song. Speaking of the music, I like the score too. It elevates the tension of the episode and is enjoyable to hear. Okay, time for my nitpicks. As I've stated before, I just don't like the ending of the climax. It feels like the power of love sequence just happened with no rhyme or reason. It makes the defeat look all the more silly to me. That also applies to the way Cadence and Twilight got out of the cave. All they did was throw flowers. That's all it took. My final nitpick is that it just feels like the episode goes by way too quickly. How ironic of me saying that considering how slow and boring some of Season 2's episodes are. I just don't like how quickly everything is resolved, from the cool action to the stakes of the changelings. These are just nitpicks. This episode is great, but not as great as part 1. I don't mind this episode having the highest rate on Serialized, but still, it's not that good, guys. Speaking of which, I'm gonna talk about part 1 and explain why that episode is better. Let's go!
Today, I'm exposing the world's most evil babysitters.
A Canterlot Wedding Part 1 is so great, dude. Everything just feels right here. The jokes, the character drama, the characters themselves, the villain, the shots, the foreshadowing, it's all executed insanely well. Way better than Part 2. Okay, I haven't said enough, let's start rambling. The little details that foreshadow the second part are fantastic. If you weren't paying attention in this episode, let me explain. Look in the flashback. Cadence's magic is blue here. Fast forward to present day, and her magic is a sinister green color. And this is no animation mistake. This was completely intentional. Other details I love come from the fake Cadence's evil magic. When she uses her magic, the shape of her horn looks different and her eyes change. Again, these little details are incredible. The entire plot of Twilight being onto Cadence while the other ponies don't believe her is incredibly fun. Twilight saw everything the Faker was doing to Shining Armor. She knows quite a lot. But since the other ponies don't know, it's impossible for them to believe her. They just think Cadence is stressed out because of the upcoming wedding. That's why she's treating everyone like shit. Even when Twilight crashed the wedding rehearsal, Shining Armor telling her these headaches were caused by the dome magic and Cadence was quote-unquote healing him, it makes perfect sense. Even though everything is under this twisted bitch's plan. Even Celestia scolds her. That's how you know she messed up. BBBFF is a very touching and heartwarming song. The reprise especially is very powerful. Twilight has officially lost everything, and you think Cadence came to comfort her, but nope. She is downright banishing Twilight. And then there's this incredible shot. In my opinion, this is easily the best shot in the season and one of the best shots in the entire show. The color of the fire, the lighting, the true evilness in her face with her dark green eyes. As she traps Twilight with a ring of fire, you know that this is no ordinary pony. I do have one minor nitpick with this, and that's the Sunshine Ladybug song. I'll talk about that in the future, but for now, I'm just gonna say that this is a blueprint. Overall, this episode is really great. It's funny, it's well paced, it's dramatic, and it's a perfect follow-up to the second part. Holy shit. The Return of Harmony Part 1 might just be one of the biggest surprises I have ever had watching this show. I never thought a season could start this strong. It's got a ton of super funny moments, remarkably dramatic sequences, an insanely tight story, perfect pacing, a way more intimidating villain, an incredible step up in visual style. Now this is amazing. Look at the animation on the glass art. Look at Discord's movements. Look at how much of a nightmare Discord turned this world into. Just look at the labyrinth itself. It's like the animators realized that, yeah, the animation in the first season sucks. Let's give this world a much more intense look. The outcome was incredible. Discord is an absolutely fantastic villain. I legitimately tensed up every time he showed up on screen. He told and misbehaved his own rules just so that the main six can fall apart. This man means business. He puts Nightmare Moon to shame. He can just manipulate everyone's minds without even trying. I swear, I can make an entire video rambling on how great of a villain Discord is. In this two-part episode specifically. This episode has no right to go this hard. I cannot believe I put it this high on the list, but it is what it is. Not a single scene felt wasted. I was glued to my seat the whole time. I laughed a bunch of times at the jokes. And overall, this is just incredible. Easily my pick for the greatest episode of Season 2. I can't believe they pretty much peaked at the beginning, but it all just works. Alright, that is Season 2 acquired. That was a pretty fun time. I was kinda disappointed, but it still had some pretty high highs. I'm excited to make my Season 3 ranking, and that's because it's only 13 episodes long, and that means I don't have to spend so much time making the video. That will be a very short ranking, stay tuned for that. Now let's see how I rank Season 2 songs. There is a total of 8. Number 8, Find a Pet. It's overly long, boring, and annoying. Number 7, The Perfect Stallion. Kinda boring, but also very funny. Number 6, Becoming Popular. Pretty generic, but it has a nice beat. Number 5, Love is in Bloom. Another pretty generic pop song, but it has a nicer ring to it. Number 4, BBBFF. It's pretty powerful and heartwarming. Shining Armor is cool. Number 3, The Flim Flam Brothers. Very wacky and fun, but also does a good job at introducing us to these characters. Number 2, Smile. Incredibly charming, lighthearted, and fun. And number 1, This Day Aria. An easy pick for the top spot in nearly every way. It's sinister, it's fun, the singing is immaculate, it's an overall banger. And that's my song ranking. Thank you all so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed, then I am very happy that you did. I'll leave you to it, Knuckles. Happy Chinese New Year, and I'll see you guys next time.
Excellent meme! Approved! 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 No time to read a list. Approved! Next! Approved! No time to read a list. Approved! Next! No time to read a list. Approved! Next! Approved! Approved! No time to read a list. Approved! Next! Approved! 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 I don't know. No time to read a list. Approved! Next! Approved! 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 I don't know. Approved! Approved! No time to read a list. Approved! Next! Approved! Approved!